Today we've got an IEMD for the modification of the term of the contract, which has come to its natural end. The modification will affect the Leopard 3, the Leopard 8, the Leopard 9 and the Tiger 7. Also proposed is a slight change in the pattern of service to incorporate the Tiger 7 and the Leopard 8 and 9 into a pattern with the Leopard 3 as an extension to the existing Mere Oak service. The IEMD is being treated as urgent today as the contracts have come to their natural end. So we need to sort this out as soon as possible. The paper considers 3 alternative options, and the option which is recommended and has been run past the local parishes and worked up with them is that which I outlined earlier, whereby the Leopard and the Tiger are effectively becoming an extension of the Mere Oak services and allow an hourly service down to Swallowfield and Risley, and an hourly service across to the Croft Road development. And the Leopard 3 would remain every 20 minutes along its current route, calling in to serve Thames Valley Science Park every hour. We have not received any comments on the paper from the Director of Assets and Reserves, from the Monitoring Officer, or from the Leader of the Council. It's recommended that the amendment is made until March 2023, with a retender contract coming in place from April 2023.
Thank you. Over to Paul and Imogen.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca, for the introduction into the report. And I'd like to firstly thank officers of Woking Borough Council and Reading Buses for all the hard work that's gone into working through options to retain local bus services south of the M4, and for producing this report, which I've read through. Also like to thank Swanfield and Chinfield Parish Councils who debriefed on the most viable option. Unfortunately, last week rumours were going around that this meeting today was private and behind closed doors. It's clearly not. It's a public meeting with Part 2 section due to the data being commercially sensitive. And I hope that we don't need to go into a Part 2 area. I'm certainly content with the information that has been provided. We recognise the importance of local bus services to our residents and the role a good network plays in offering greener and healthier travel alternatives. This is an important part of reducing congestion, getting our residents more active and helping towards our climate emergency, which is another one of our key priorities. As indicated in the report on page 8, approximately 1.226 million passenger journeys based on February-March 2022 data are currently made on the Leopard and the Tiger services per annum. However, the full permitted contract term has now come to its natural end. And we have 3 options which have been set out in the report and are shown on page 8. Option 1 is withdrawing the bus service, but this has serious implications that are set out in the report. To me, this is not the right option, as the impact on our residents would be significant. We have option 2 is to retender the local bus services, but there isn't sufficient time to do this, and a gap in service would result in similar impacts as set out in option 1. And there would be no local bus services until a new tender commences and a new required budget. Therefore, patronage would start from a very low base, and costs in supporting these services are likely to be much higher. So again, this is not really the right option to take. We can go with option 3, which is modify the contract term. This will allow the services to continue enabling time to go out to tender. But amendments would need to be made to service patterns, the impact on our residents would be a continuation of an amended bus service, and option 3 is certainly one I will support. So the modification to allow these services to run will mean the current Mere Oak Park and Ride service to 600 will be extended with 2 buses, roughly running 30 minutes apart, to 3 Mile Cross and Spencer's Wood. One service will then continue to Swallowfield and Risley, Wellington Country Park, and return to Reading via the Mere Oak Park and Ride and the A33. Second extended 600 service will run from 3 Mile Cross and Spencer's Wood to Thames Valley Science Park via Shinfield Green and return to Reading via Mere Oak Park and Ride in the A33. The Leopard 3 will continue in its current service pattern with a slightly adjustments to its timetable, and this will actually enable students attending the after school clubs at Bowhunt School to catch the bus towards Wokingham. So how are these services going to be funded going forward? Funding for these services will now require budget using section 106 to pay for them until the 31st of March 2023. And this is estimated across £241,446, as set out in the report on page 8. I therefore support modifying the contract term and using section 106 funding with a budget of 241,446 for the remainder of this financial year. Finally, if we want to continue to have a good bus network, we need more people to use the buses, and I urge residents to take the bus wherever possible across the whole of Wokingham, as they are safe, convenient, and far more beneficial to our environment than driving. Thank you. Imogen?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to sort of say that obviously, if we were to withdraw the service, it would mean serious impact on mainly affecting older people, young people, and obviously our part of our in our manifesto is the requirements that we want people to be greener and use buses and public transport services more, and we also need to support people who don't have access to a car or less access to cars. So this money will only be supporting the buses for 7 months. We are aware that we're in post-COVID era and things haven't got back to full service level. So we cannot continue to carry on doing this, but this is for a short-term fix. This is what we need to do, and I will support that. Otherwise, there'll be no service to lots of people. So.
Thank you very much. So as Paul mentioned earlier, there's just a very slight amendment to the recommendation. So the recommendation as set out on page 5 is that the individual executive member for active travel, transport and highways and the executive member for finance give approval to modify the terms of the contract tendered under WBC 100. So the additional words being added on the end of that are to agree a new end date of 31st of March 2023, just to be clear when the new contract will finish. So with that, as long as Paul and Imogen are happy with that decision,
Yeah.
I will just hand around the decision sheet to be signed. With that, subject to the standard 5-day cooling period, officers will be allowed to implement that decision. So thank you very much, and I will now bring the meeting to a close.